So a few weeks back, I did a caveman style steak. A couple of them. I did ribeyes. So, and what I mean by that is I cooked them directly on the coals. There's something I saw Alton Brown do, gosh, 20 years ago, something like that. I don't know, on Good Eats, which I loved. And I'd always wanted to do it, so I decided to do it. Turned out pretty good. I decided to change the cut of meat though. When Alton Brown did it, he used a skirt steak. So I've got a couple of skirt steaks, and that's what I'm going to use for this one. Ribeye turned out fine, but because of the fat on the ribeye, especially around the outside, some of that got a little charred, but we still ate both steaks and they were good. So I'm going to use a different cut of meat this time. So I'm going to switch the camera angle and we'll just get this meat ready. I'm not going to do a lot to it, and then we'll get outside and get the PK360 fired up and get the coals nice and hot. So hang with me, I'm going to switch the camera angle. So I'm not going to do a lot to these, but the fat on the outside, I'm not going to take a chance on really cutting into the meat deeply unless I'm just going to remove a piece. But it definitely doesn't need the fat on the outside really. These are only going to be on, in the hard fat, these are only going to be on minute and a half maybe each side, something like that. And that hard fat is not going to render, so I'm going to get rid of any of it on the outside. And the intramuscular fat will be there for the flavor, and it'll be softer and will render easier. Pieces like this, that's way too thin, it's just going to burn. I'm just going to cut that off. I'm going to go ahead and keep that for something. I'm trying my best not to waste things these days. I can do something with that small piece. Okay, there's a small piece or two running along this side. So I'm going to do the same thing to both of these, and so I won't keep you here for this whole thing. I'll edit this out. Definitely can get a piece off the end here. And when we come back, this will all be cleaned up and we'll go on to the next step. Okay, we're back. I actually did a lot more trimming than I expected, but here's our pieces of meat. I'm gonna leave that. I'm not gonna butcher these too much. I actually had to do more trimming than I thought. So here's what we're gonna do. We're just gonna use some kosher salt, and we're gonna salt the outside of these. And I'm doing this exactly like Alton Brown did. Going to do this about an hour before we're going to cook these, and we're just going to leave them sitting out on the counter. They did come straight from the fridge just a few minutes ago. So we're going to leave these on the counter and let them dry out, come up in temperature, and let this salt work on them. The salt will of course help with any kind of foodborne issues, and I'm just really not all that concerned about it. And I trust my buddy Alton. All right, so there we go. Want to get a good coating, but also keeping in mind that these skirt steaks are pretty thin too, so don't want to over season them. And we'll add some pepper later, but for Smokey, get away from the salt. Oh boy. Somebody dared walk their dog along the sidewalk outside our house, and Smokey takes exception to that. All right, so that's going to be it. We're going to let these sit out. Next thing we're going to do is we're going to go out and get the fire started at the grill. So we will see you out at the PK360. Okay, so we're going to get our PK360 lit and ready to go. I've got a Weber paraffin cube, and I've got some lump charcoal just sitting in the grill now. I'm going to put a charcoal starter or a chimney starter in on top of this. I just want to make sure I've got enough charcoal for all three of these skirt steaks. So there we go. Just going to set that on top. And let it go. So probably, you know, people say 15 to 20 minutes. I never buy that. For me, the chimney starter probably takes 25 to 30 minutes. So we're just going to let this go and then get them dumped and let these things get ripping hot, and then we'll bring our skirt steaks out. See you in a little bit. All right, so here's the plan. Charcoal is ready. I'm going to dump it, and then I'm sort of going to even it out, make sure it's sort of flat, and open up the vents wide open, which they already are, and gonna let this charcoal really heat up good, spread it out, heat it good, and then bring the skirt steaks out. So let's get this dumped. This is just hot right now, really hot. And you're like, yeah, no crap, barbecue guy. All right, this is gonna be beautiful. I can't even reach over this. Whew. All right, there we go. So I'm gonna close the lid and open the vents. Bottom ones are wide open. So there we go. We're going to probably let this go 10, maybe 15 minutes, and then we'll bring the steaks out and go from there. Okay, here we go. We got our skirt steaks. We got our charcoal ripping hot. One thing I did do is I used my air compressor and I lightly blew just a layer of ash off the top. I'm not worried about the ash. I've done this before. It's not a big deal. So, but I still just wanted to get a top layer off. So here we go. I'm gonna get these on pretty quickly so they're even. Ooh. I'm not sure my placement's gonna be great, but we'll do the best we can. So I'm gonna set my timer for 1 minute, and then we're gonna come back and flip. See you in 1 minute. All right, so as our 1 minute winds down here, a couple of things I have off to the side. I've got a couple of pieces of aluminum foil that I'm going to wrap these in after I flip and they go for another minute. And here we go. Take the charcoal off if any sticks to it. So this isn't catching on fire and burning, even with the fat that's on it, just essentially because it's not getting oxygen. It's right against the coals, there's no oxygen there. And the coals that are on there can just easily be removed. All right, we're gonna let this go another, looks like 20 seconds. And then we are going to put them straight into foil and we're gonna wrap them up very tight and they're gonna rest for 20 minutes. I'm not gonna cut into this early like I sometimes do. We're gonna let them finish cooking. I actually cooked them a little longer than Alton did. I just didn't want to take any risks. Plus my family likes it a little bit more done, but hopefully still pink inside. We'll see. Here we go, we're done. So got my foil there. Gonna get one of these off here, shake any coals off. Here we go. That coal off there. That's beautiful. And so this is going to actually build a little sauce in the foil. It's the way Alton described it. Going to get these wrapped up right now. Wrapped up tight. And there's our package of love. We're going to put this back on the tray and get it inside and just let it rest for 20 minutes. We'll see you inside. All right, we have been resting now for about 18 minutes. Our potatoes got done a little sooner than I thought they would, so we're going to cut into this and we're going to have dinner. So I love that juice that's in the bottom of this foil. And you can absolutely see the way this grain is running. A little ash there. Again, it's not a big deal, I promise. So grain running this way. So what we're going to do is we're actually going to cut this in half with the grain. And then we're going, ooh, that pink is perfect. That's great. And then we're going to cut against the grain for our slices. A little bit on the bias. I love that color. I don't know if that's coming through or not, but it looks beautiful. I'm going to try a piece right now. Oh, that's good. Man, that's good. So we're just going to get this sliced up. By the way, the trimmings from this got fried up in a pan with a little salt, and Smokey had them for dinner, or part of them for dinner. He'll have more tomorrow. Man. The way this finishes is the key. It stays so juicy. Of course, you have to cut it against the grain for this particular cut of meat. And then it's so tender when you do it that way. Man, this is good. Want a piece, bud?
Sure.
There you go.
That's amazing.
That's pretty good. So we're going to do this one the same way. And I'm going to hurry here so this doesn't get cold. And the last one I might actually leave whole and only cut it if we want to end up eating it. Again, I'm going to cut it with the grain and then turn it. And that's just so the length of our slices are reasonable. So this is a fun way to cook a piece of meat. Would I do it this way every time? Nope. But I just want to make it clear that this does not taste like charcoal at all. I did, I think I said this, I did ribeyes like this and didn't film it. I did take a picture, but I didn't film it. Boy, that's gorgeous. So we're going to take this foil. May as well use this juice. There we go. And again, we'll leave one of these. Everyone, thanks for tuning in. Give this a try. It's fun. Amaze your friends. Do me a favor, like and subscribe, and we'll see you next time at Buckeye Barbecue.